Megan Rapinoe.
Let's do it.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, cheers.
An Aperol Spritz, eh?
The Italian in me.
You've been here, what, close to a decade now?
Yeah, this is my 10th season.
The OG of
I
the
know.
rain.
I know. Literally.
What's changed in that decade?
Everything and nothing. We're back in Seattle playing games, which is amazing. It's nice to be back in a big stadium. You know, we've never really had a proper home, I feel like, for the product that we have on the field and just the wild personalities that we have.
Training facilities probably the next step, right?
Yeah, I think so. That's our next really big hurdle. And I think for the players too, that's just the thing that we are experiencing on the daily. So that's a big one for us.
And it's been a crazy pendulum swinging year for this league.
Absolutely. You have obviously the two new clubs coming in. Governing body of the sport, the front offices of the sport, totally failed the players. I think that's not even in question. I mean, obviously the most egregious of things, you know, we know what they are with Mana and with Kai and with Sinead. Those things unacceptable in every facet of life. But I think there's a different vibe and a different understanding and expectation from whether you're an owner or you're a trainer or you're a coach or you're a player. There's like a much more, I think, safe place for the players to play.
When you came here, you were already an Olympian gold medalist, but it seems like halfway through this run, you became a star on another level. In terms of your training, your scoring, I have all the stats right in front of me.
Oh no.
In 2017, 12 goals in 18 games, 187 appearances for Team USA, 62 goals, 71 assists. So what changed mid-decade that all of a sudden you hit like another level?
A lot of things. I tore my ACL right after the World Cup in 15. That was a huge changing point. I think I just turned 30 by the grace of God. Met Sue. She has had a huge impact on me, both on the field and off. You know, obviously she's still playing and being one of the best players at 41. I know how I feel now at 36, and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I'm watching what you're eating and I'm seeing and I'm like doing the same things as you, but I was, you know, had that period where I was away from the national team a little bit, still recovering from my injury. It was after I kneeled, so I wasn't getting called into the games.
Was it also helpful to have a chip on your shoulder? I mean, you just casually mentioned it once I kneeled. And...
Yeah, no, I definitely had a huge chip. You know, I always have it a little bit, but it got like supersized for sure. You know, especially feeling like I was, being left off the team for reasons other than just my play. Finally, when I was able to play, I felt fresh again. Physically, I think I was a different person than I'd ever been before.
Well, and we're sitting here drinking alcohol, but I mean, what did Sue teach you about conditioning to hit this next level?
It was a lot in my diet. I wasn't really eating bad. I was actually, I think, under-eating a little bit and kind of at the wrong time. And I think with that kind of allowed me to train harder and longer.
Did you stop paying attention to social media at a certain point?
For whatever reason, I don't do a lot of looking in the comments. I think, you know, the experience of kneeling had a lot to do with that. And I think with the kneeling, it became really clear really quick. Like, I kind of got the game immediately. It was like, the more outrage I got, I was like, oh, that's like, I'm actually doing the right thing and saying the right thing, what I think is the right thing. And in social media, it's like you can find whatever you want. If you want to be told you're amazing, if you want to be told you're trash, if you want sort of in the middle, you can kind of find it. If I'm doing something wrong, I'll know it. My phone will ring. It'll either be my mom or my sister or Sue or someone like that.
The World Cup, the Twitter back and forth with President Trump, that people compared your performance in the World Cup to Muhammad Ali.
Oh,
I know you've tried
no.
to
That's a no. That's a no for me.
to not make that comparison, but in terms of the global stage and everything, this then hits a whole nother level. Nike, you become an author, best-selling author, ESPN Body Issue, Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Issue, Time Magazine, hosting the ESPYs, clothing line. You're acting now. The Ballon d'Or, best player in the world. It all happens.
I know, they
after
messed up.
2019.
Trump messed up, man. Trump messed up. I feel like with Trump, what actually was happening was he really wanted to be a fan of the team. And we're just like the antithesis of who he is. But he actually likes it because we're not really arrogant, but kind of. And we're like very confident. So I feel like he was actually like trying to be a fan, but then he knew that he couldn't. So then he had this like, mantrum on Twitter.
Was that exhausting at any level, all those things I rattled off?
Not really. I kind of liked it. It kind of was. I mean, maybe the travel in between to all of those things, but during the World Cup, it was like, this is what you work for. I thought it was kind of like ridiculous too. I think probably because I'm older. This convergence of pop culture and sport and equal pay lawsuit, and it was just weird. It was like wild.
And a perfect segue to talk about the settlement. $24 million.
Yep.
Pending the collective bargaining agreement. You had originally asked for $66 million in the class action suit. As we sit here today, are you happy with how that turned out?
I am happy with it, yeah. I think it's an extremely difficult thing to do, to get that many people on board to do the same thing. I think still it's a massive settlement, and I think obviously the best thing is going forward. No player for the U.S. Women's National Team will ever have to experience that again, and they'll just be set up so much better.
There was very little criticism after this settlement, with the exception of your former Reign and U.S. Women's National Team teammate Hope Solo said it was heartbreaking that it wasn't a victory.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that she feels that way about it. I know she has her own suit going on, and I hope she gets every single penny that she wants out of it.
So you mentioned Sue. I think people have described the two of you as a power couple.
I keep saying that.
There was only one other power couple in Seattle, and
they're gone.
They're gone. So you're it.
They're gone, and they gave us their house. That was so nice of you guys. Thank you, thank you, Russell. That was great.
How about that title, power couple?
So weird, yeah, so weird. We're really proud, I think, of the impact that we can have. Obviously, being a gay couple, being female athletes, both of us having our particular standing in our sport. It definitely, I think, elevates both of us, and I think in turn elevates the things that we're talking about. But it's totally weird because we're just, like, I'm just me and she's just her. We don't really, maybe I should just tell her to call me that or something. Like, she has to call me, the half of the power couple.
I worry in a way for Seattle because Sue is entering this year, whether it's the last year or not. You're entering this year. You've talked about marriage plans. I worry that Seattle doesn't realize how much time they have left with you.
They should probably come to every one of our games this year.
Well played.
Yeah. Get you guys in there, season ticket. I think you never really appreciate anything while you have it. There definitely is I think, a deep love and appreciation for what we do on the field and what we do off the field. They're going to be sad when we leave, though. I mean, we're good personalities.
I mean, yes, yeah. Absolutely.
We're fun. I mean, look at this sweater. This is wild. Somebody's going to have to wear this sweater after me,
I mean, for you, 2023 World Cup right around the corner.
Yeah.
Rain season. I mean, have you even mentally processed where you're going from here?
I definitely want to go for the World Cup. Definitely want to go for the World Cup next summer.
And then politics, marriage, who knows?
Yeah, I think the marriage definitely after we're done playing. I can't even imagine trying to plan.
Well, here's to a bright future.
Thank you.
And a good season ahead.
Yeah, we'll be seeing you at the games.
Yes, you will. Thanks for sharing a drink.
It's such a good drink. It's perfect.